Eddie soldiers, it's gonna be another wild day because I once again have my window open, my blinds up, and I'm not wearing pants. So, you know, I just like to tempt fate like the bad girl that I am. I'm feeling slightly chaotic today, and I don't know why. This isn't even coffee. This is no Go Fast bean juice. This is just like regular tea. Regardless, I'm feeling like I want to film. A couple of weeks ago I did a video on books that do tropes right, because we all love tropes, we all love to hate tropes, but no matter what we read, there's always going to be a trope that we either identify with or really love to hate. So this video has been a amalgamation of thoughts I've had since whenever I filmed that other video, a trend going around on book TikTok where you list your favorite oddly specific trope, and this Tumblr post. I mean, I say I love enemies to lovers trope, but what I really mean is that I love the enemies to resentful allies in a time of crisis, to grudging mutual respect, to growing fondness concealed by snark, to hurtful betrayal, to slow reconciliation with a greater understanding of each other, to strange but solid friendship, to unexpected feelings in a time of crisis, to denying their feelings while growing closer as friends, to epiphanies of love in the worst possible circumstance, to mutual pining, to unbearable sexual tension, to lovers trope. Oh, I can't believe I did that in one take. So I thought it would be fun this week to go over some of my personal favorite oddly specific tropes. So, trope me up, baby! Let's get started. So this first one is what I like to call chosen one adjacent. Because I love me a good orphan child raised up into glory. Bonus points if it's a lost heir. Ooh, I love that kind of shit. Maybe it was a street rat who robbed the wrong person, but then that person mentors them and takes them in. Maybe that kid is magical and they're taken in by another kind of magic user. Or they were the kid of somebody who's like gonna fulfill a prophecy. I'm talking like both Kel and Lila from A Darker Shade of Magic, and as much as I don't like to promote her on this channel, Selena from Throne of Glass, you know, Selena, even to a degree Kvothe from Name of the Wind. And the story is that, you know, if they're magical, they just come into their power and now people are hunting them. Or they were squirreled away in the forest somewhere and now it's their true time to rule, so they get brought back to court, and then people at court are trying to use them for their own political agenda. Maybe their benefactor goes missing and then they have this inner turmoil of like, whose side am I on? Do I belong with the people who have raised me, or do I belong with my own kind? No, don't know why, but I love this trope. Maybe it's like struggling to belong, but also like destined for greatness or something like that. Oh, and I will say this now, if you have a book that matches any trope that I'm talking about, please leave it down below. Second of my favorite tropes. Nope, that's 4. You came for the books, not the math. Second of my favorite tropes is the found family trope. It could be a magical family, like House of the Cerulean Sea, or the Raven Boys. It could be a kind of people are brought together for a certain heist or quest, but then they fall in love along the way, like Six of Crows, or it could be like a real world scenario, like My Life Next Door. These kind of books just give me those warm, fuzzy feelings in the cold, dead, empty cavern of my soul. I'm also particularly biased towards books that have the main character being introduced to an already existing group of people or family, and they get to see how all of them interact, and then they slowly become a part of that family. My god! I also think it's quite fun when you have like that dinner table scene where one character comes and sits down at the dinner table with the rest of them, and then they're all like either going crazy or being wild and weird and they feel this like warmth, or they're all like stilted and awkward because they don't know how to act around someone else, or if they're all brought together by profit, but then, you know, oh, we learn to love each other and now we're one big family and we're gonna do anything for the other person. I don't know why these books resonate so much with me. Like, I have a great relationship with my family. I mean, yeah, I have no siblings and was bullied excessively as a child, so I didn't actually get a good idea of what a friendship was supposed to be, nor did I understand how to fully form good friendships until I was in my early 20s. But I'm sure that has no correlation. And triple bonus points if you make the found family in space. You give me a ragtag crew found family in space, like Seven Devils or Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, I'ma read it. I think it's the juxtaposition of like the cold, dead vastness of space with like the warm interpersonal connections of people on the spaceship. Just, I will get wrecked on that. Which leads me to my next favorite thing in sci-fi books, and that is, oh god, I love me a sassy AI. Think Aiko from Cinder, or the Thunderhead from Scythe. God, I love him. Him? It. Them? The genderless cloud in the sky that talks to people. I love them. Again, it's that juxtaposition of having something that is, you know, cold and impersonal as a robot that like has human humor, or like tries to do human humor but like doesn't quite get it. Like if their personality chip is broken or they're like malfunctioning or something. Does this mean that I want an AI uprising in the near future? No. But man, I love those sassy little robots. Siri could never. Next thing up, I don't know if this is necessarily like a trope, might be like a subgenre, but this is my video so I can do whatever I want. Y'all know that I love me some creepy ass fairies. Not like hot fairies with an 8-pack and an impressive wingspan. I mean like the fairies that will like make you dance until you die kind of fairy. I'm talking like Tithe. Revoke my English degree right now. Tith by Holly Black, The Call by Pater O'Gillian, or House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. Even to a degree, Raven Boys, because these books play with the natural and the unnatural. I love fairy characters being described as having eyes too big, or fingers too long, or having skin not made of skin. Having something be of nature yet still feel unnatural. Dealing with dreams, dealing with wishes, dealing with time. I think that's a big one. Why I like Raven Boys. Like, the more unsettling yet whimsical, the better. This next oddly specific trope, I don't have like one single book to point at. Oh my god, lip gloss. But I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, and that is something, I think that falls under the enemies to lovers category. You have two characters who have to work together for some reason. Maybe they're on a quest, or they've been assigned to protect something, and they really don't like each other off the bat, and they only call each other by nicknames or their last name. And this is like a thing for them. And then as the series goes on, they get to know more about each other, but they're still calling each other by those last names, and then they're in battle or something, and one of them gets hurt, and the other one sees them, and then they see them, and they run, and they call out their person's real name! Oh, it's so satisfying to see that barrier come down and be like, oh yeah, you really like them. Oh, I'm getting way too excited over this. Similarly to that, there is another thing that falls under that enemies to lovers category. When one character hasn't admitted to themselves that they love that other person or other family that they're with, but they still like have gone back to like, no, I need to stick to my mission, or like stick to what I was supposed to do in the first place, and they leave. And then halfway when they're gone, they realize that they made a giant mistake. They turn around and they run full speed, or they steal a horse and they get on a train because they need to get back to those people that were actually the people that they love in the home that they left. I think finishing House of the Cerulean Sea and Down Comes the Night back to back just really solidified how much I love this trope. You as the reader know that they love each other, or that that's where they belong, and you're just like, no, you're being so stubborn, go back to those people that love you, and then they do! Oh, it warms my heart and what's left of my soul. I love it. This next thing is a little morbid, but I love bone magic. We're talking like Gideon the Ninth, or Bone Crier's Moon, or Daughter Smoke and Bone, or Merciful Crow. I don't quite know why. Like, no one in my family's a physician. I've never broken a bone. I don't do taxidermy. Still have all my wisdom teeth. There's just something about a character just ripping a tooth out of someone and doing a spell with it. I'm like, I love you? How do I think about it? Where are my baby teeth? I'll have to ask my mom. I wonder if I can make some weird jewelry out of them. As you can see, I like bones. I have 2 racks of antlers in this room that watch over me while I sleep. Got my 2 bookshelf guardians, and then a handful of assorted single antlers and vertebrae. Like in Gideon, we have lesbian necromancers in space. Bone Crier's Moon, we have people taking animals and then wearing their bones to absorb their powers. Smoke and Bone, we have people stringing bones and beads together to make like resurrection necklaces. And in Merciful Crow, that's what they literally do. The crow case goes around collecting bags of teeth, and then they use them to do magic. And it's also hilariously ironic that I am terrible watching gore of any kind, even like special effects gore. It squeaks me out, so don't know why I'm so obsessed with this. Now this next thing is something I'm assuming a lot of other bookworms can identify with wanting, and that is that I love any book that has a sentient library. Give me a library that exists outside of space and time, that has books with their own personalities and magical librarians. Like, girl, why do y'all think I love the Starless Sea so much? This also applies to Sorcery of Thorns, Library of the Unwritten, and the Invisible Library. I don't care if it's like the books themselves that are magical. Like in this one, they're dark grimoires, and if you leave them unattended for long enough, they'll like grow into monsters and escape and like fly around, which like the flying paper cuts aspect of it, it's not my favorite. Or if it's like in either of these books where the library itself kind of has its own personality, it's like willing to help you find places, or like the librarians are the ones that have the powers to like go to different dimensions or into books, into different worlds. But I think it just continues with the love that people have for books, right? Because like books are big escapism, and it would just be so amazing to like doubly escapeception into these library worlds. Although I have worked at a library, and unfortunately I have not found any kind of secret room that, you know, will lead me to a place that exists outside of space and time. But I was only a low-level employee, so you never know. Now, I don't know when this video is going up, so it might either have been the last video I filmed or like 2 videos ago, but I said that I was single and am accepting villain applications. But the other thing that I absolutely love, that I'm growing more attached to, is the soft boy TM love interest. And I would also like to clarify that I think like soft boy has been taken out of context on the internet and like turned into something that it's not. So I do not mean it in an offensive way, because the original meaning of it was to juxtapose that early 2000s love interest that was, you know, controlling and that rude bad boy. So now you have a softer boy who is like kind and caring and sweet and actually cares about the protagonist. So when I say like soft boy or cinnamon roll, that's the kind of person that I mean. I'm talking like Jim from the Infernal Devices, or Nathan from I Wish You All the Best, or even Adam and sort of Gansey from the Raven Boys. Adam needs some therapy. We acknowledge that and we support him. I like all these traditional YA love interests that are these rude, snarky bad boys, and I'm like, my guy, take you, your attitude, your abs, and your motorcycle out of my vicinity. I want a love interest who respects me as a person, thank you. So I love love interests like these because I'm like, wow, people showing that they care for you, what a concept. I also have a bias towards these kinds of people because not only is that something that you should be looking for in your regular life, like, you know, you're in a relationship because you want to be in a relationship with that person because you like them, but I think reading those, you know, snarky bad boys at a time of my life where I was becoming a teenager and like thinking of dating, I definitely looked for those things in people to date because the media that I was consuming told me that I was supposed to be attracted to that. So now I'm like, if you right off the bat are being rude and like uninterested, we're cutting this off. I want somebody who actually respects me and like likes being in my company. And it's people like this that make me believe that people like that are out there. Remember, kids, date people you like and that treat you well. Oh my god, how many of these did I write down? Oh, we got more. Are you doing okay? Did you go get like a snack or like another drink or something? It's okay, I'll wait. Okay, here's another one that I don't have a specific book to point to, but it's something that like, if it has this scene, I will buy it. And that is a balcony kissing or secrecy scene. Let me set the scene for you. So it's it happens at like a ball or a gala of some kind, and everybody's dressed up in their fancy gowns and headpieces, and you know, there's flowers everywhere, and there's like a band in the corner playing the violin or something, and it's like everything's dripping in gold and champagne and everything's gorgeous, and the main character is on a balcony, probably at night, with like the stars above them or like at sunset, and they're like getting some air, and it's either because they're like on a heist and they are like trying to, you know, get themselves together, or maybe they just like need some air because they're trying to like escape somebody in the ball. And then somebody comes and joins them on the balcony, and maybe it's the love interest. And you know, they're very overwhelmed because it's the first time that they've seen the love interest like all dressed up. Bonus points if it's a masked ball, double bonus points if the person that comes out onto the balcony who's wearing a mask, like the main character thinks that they're the other point of the love triangle, they think they're somebody else. Triple bonus points if one or both of them is an assassin. And then they come together on the balcony and dressed in their finery under the stars at this ball with all this tension, they kiss. Or they try and kill each other, or both. As somebody who's never been to a masked ball, this is exactly what I expect to happen when I eventually go to one. Okay, I've been talking for forever, so I'm just gonna wrap this up real quick with 2 final ones. I also think that this is more of a movie trope, but I love seeing it no matter what media it's in, and that is when a character is asked to surrender their weapons. So, you know, they take the sword off, and they like take the daggers or like the guns out of their weapons belt, and they put them down, and they step back. And the other character goes, surrender all your weapons, and they're like, oh fine. They like open their vests and they're wearing like 4 more knives, and they take their knives out, and you know, they pull out a ridiculously long knife from their boot or something, they put it on the tray, and then they're like, okay, like, are you happy now? And then the other character just like gives them a look, and they're like, and then like pull out like another dagger and put it down. I love this. And lastly, the dagger under the chin. I know I'm not alone in this one, because all of y'all on Book Talk are being horny on me and talking about this stupid like dagger under the chin thing. And I fully admit defeat in saying that. I also love this trope. The tension of this scene is always so good, no matter if it's an enemies to lovers or if it's like 2 actual enemies. Actually, I have something for demonstration purposes. This isn't sharp, by the way. This is a letter opener. Like, if one character has the other person like this with a knife to the throat, don't ever threaten my sister again. You know, good, high tension. But if a character has somebody with the knife under the chin like this, you know they're gonna fall in love, like it's guaranteed at this point. Bonus points if the other person is on their knees and the other character just has their sword under their chin, and maybe they say something sassy or, you know, like slightly seductive. Or double bonus points if one of the characters is having a nightmare and the other character like comes in trying to wake them up, but the person having a nightmare doesn't realize that that person's real, and they like flip them over and then like have a knife to their throat, and then they like fully wake up and realize that they have the knife to the throat of somebody and they like back off or something. Ooh, that tension right there is so good. I have to put this down. I'm getting too excited and I'm gonna take my own eye out. Oh man, I feel like I still have so many more, but this list was way too long. I don't know why I wrote so many. Please leave me your favorite oddly specific tropes down below, or recommend me stuff with these tropes if you can. Like some of these that I see on Book Talk, I didn't even know I liked until someone else told me about it. So maybe that was, you know, maybe you had an epiphany in this video. Just like anything in writing, you can do this well or you can do it poorly, and you can also use any of these tropes and twist them yourself, and that way you can continue to use something that you love in a fresh, funky new way. I think that's something that we all like as readers. You know, we like something that's similar to something that we already like. You're still looking for books that hold the structural integrity of the trope that you love while putting a fresh spin on it. Like, my voice is going. This is how long I've been yelling. I get very passionate about stories, okay? You know where to click like the video, you know where to click to subscribe. I hope you guys are all having a nice day wherever you are, and I will see you all next week. Bye!